Verizon spends on advertising and promotion. A few seconds later, my mother said, "Oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo." I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. Consequently, they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk.
News this hour is brought to you by the Rusty Healy Agency in Madison. Call Landon Thompson at 601-856-3681 to request a quote or learn more.
Did it for a friend who did it for a friend. This afternoon, 88 is the high with a 40% chance for showers and storms. Tonight, that rain chance is at 30% with a low at 68. Wednesday, a 40% chance for afternoon storms with a high at 89. Up to the mid-90s again by Friday. You've got news on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
So who's in the back? The passenger is your friend?
Yes.
Who's in the back seat?
I don't know her. She's a friend of them.
All that is from a body cam video from the Texas Department of Public Safety. It involved a woman from Jackson who was pulled over in Valverde County, Texas last week and charged with smuggling people.
Right now you're being detained. You're fine.
Shakira Dominique Jordan told Texas troopers she was giving some friends a ride. The friends included illegal aliens from Cuba, El Salvador, and Afghanistan, the last one on a government list. They were turned over to ICE, and Jordan is in hot water. A fatal shooting in Jackson Sunday. The victim identified as Reginald Brown. Police say it happened on Ridgewood Road, but they are not offering much more info, not even a motive, and no one has been arrested yet. 2 people were killed in a shooting Saturday night about 11 on Dogwood Trail. Info is scarce in that shooting too, but cops ID the people who died as 48-year-old Roosevelt Denson Jr., who died that night, and 26-year-old Zacchaeus Johnson, who died about 4:30 the next morning. Another person was hurt. If you drove by the state capitol about noon Monday, you might have seen the 250 people out there rallying in the Workers Over Billionaires March. The organizers say Mississippi should have a minimum wage and that it should be higher than the $7.25 federal minimum. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are the individual views and opinions of the people expressing them and do not necessarily reflect those of this radio station, its parent, affiliated, or related entities, agents, or employees.
Welcome to the Chip Matthews Show, where politics meets the South. So grab your sweet tea, find a comfortable spot to sit back, and let's embark on this journey together. Chip away, chip away at the storm. Chip away. That's what I'm gonna do. Sweet little mama, I wanna get next to you.
9:07 a.m. Good morning to you. It's the Chip Matthews Show. How are y'all doing? And we have Jamie Creel in the studio with us this morning to talk about school choice or not choice. We had somebody else that was going to be here, Leah Ferretti. She is the advocate for school choice, and she said she'll make it next week at 9 o'clock. So, with that being said, we're still going to talk school choice and consolidation and what we need to do to fix the system. Mr. Creel here, of course, has been a educator. I guess that's the name. Do you call it educator? I mean,
I've been a little bit everywhere, Chip. Taught in Clinton a little bit, was in Brandon a little bit, Raymond a little bit, Greenville for a little bit. Spent most of my time in Vicksburg Warren School District, and still on the couple of committees at the Mississippi Department of Education. So I feel like I was born to be an educator, but now, my full-time job is an insurance agent. But I care about the kids of Mississippi, and I just want to see what's best for them.
Well, as a child, I was around in 68 when I was in the first grade at Canton Public Schools. And then mid-year going into the second grade, they pulled us out and put us in a tent factory building, the last-minute building for us all to go to school, and said, this is what we're going to do, segregation. And so I did that. And then I had an uncle, Bill Matthews. I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't.
He was he coached football at Pascagoula.
Oh yeah, I know Bill.
Yeah.
Shane's daddy. Yeah,
Shane's daddy.
yeah.
There you go.
That's your uncle?
That's my uncle.
Wow.
Okay, and Shane would be my first cousin.
They put us out in the semifinals of the state championship that year. They won the state in 1987.
I was at the game. I went to every game.
Yeah. When I went to Clinton High School, so they flew that big ass blimp over the field, and man,
Oh yeah.
what a nightmare. Had a lot of talent on that team.
Oh
though.
yeah. I mean, it's Terrell Buckley.
Yeah. Frankie Godfrey, Terrell Buckley, Shane Matthews.
Didn't everybody wind up on the first team of the offense or the defense? I think they all wound up with D1 scholarships.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt
Oh,
it
yeah.
at all. They beat us 14-7. I'll never forget it. We dropped a punt on a rainy night on the 2-yard line, and they punched it in and beat us 14-7.
And Shane's football career, if Shane's listening, it's call in. But his football career, he had one pick six in his entire career, and that was the one against Alabama.
Wow.
One pick six.
In the SEC championship game?
In the SEC championship.
Yeah.
The game, the play that changed the game. But, I mean, he went through 14 years in the NFL and has a collection of jerseys from many of the teams, I always say. But he did, he got his 14 years in and then went and coached for a little while.
Shane's a very good player. And matter of fact, when he went down there, he and my high school quarterback, Kyle Mars,
Yes.
the late, great Kyle Mars had the best arm.
Yes.
Oh, man, people just don't understand. It was Brett Farvish. He could absolutely spin a football. And, Kyle passed away this last year,
Yes,
which
he
was
did.
sad. And but Kyle was bigger than life
Yes, he
to
was.
kids coming up in Clinton during those times. But I know he and Shane were big buddies down there in Florida.
Yeah, they were roommates for a while.
Yep.
And so that was great. But anyway, let's get into this part of school choice and what it is. Like for instance, in growing up, I would have chosen to go to public school.
Right.
Because they said you can't have a car now because we got to pay for private school.
Right.
So that was the way it was. But school choice now is about busting the lines and being able to go from one side of town to the other side of town, or from one county to the next county. Am I correct? Is that what they're looking for?
Well, that's what they're saying. When you ask the people that are pro school choice,
right.
what is it you want to see done? Okay. And what I'm thinking is they're trying to tell us this is the reason to do this.
Right.
While it is not the root cause of why they want to do this, the root cause for doing it should be to educate all kids in the state of Mississippi.
Right.
And they may tell you that and look you in the eye and tell you that. Well, they're not being truthful about that. Because if you truly want to educate kids, all kids in Mississippi, school choice is not the way to do it. And I can give you 100 examples, and I'll be welcome. I welcome coming on the show with Miss Ferretti and discussing it. But I can tell you from a school administrator standpoint, from a logical standpoint of why it won't work, we have bigger root problems in Mississippi than school choice. And it has nothing to do with what they're trying to do. I mean, this is an agenda, in my opinion. And hey, I've got a lot of good friends on that side. I mean, Jason White and I, Speaker of the House, hey, I love him to death. We played college baseball together. And I love Jason, but it's okay to disagree. And I think we're disagree on this issue. Okay,
because when the president speaks of school choice, I don't feel like some of the things in school choice trickle down to Mississippi.
No,
I mean, it could actually help in some cities, in like a small area like Washington, D.C.
All right, let me ask you this, Chip. Okay, so if I ask you, why in the world would you be pro school choice?
Okay.
Your answer would be what?
Well, my answer would be about logic. Like, for instance, let's say if I lived.
But hold on, is it to educate all kids?
No, it has nothing to do with education.
Okay, so that's what
it has to do with convenience.
Yeah, okay, so but you ask these people, they want the parents to have a choice to send their kids to a better, what they deem is a better school.
Right.
Okay. That can't happen. What are the kids of Issaquena County? Where are you going to send the kids of Issaquena County?
Nowhere.
You're going to have to go 2-3 counties over, or up or down.
They would have to come down to Vicksburg.
Yeah,
more
yeah.
than likely. That would be the logical choice.
That would be logical. So
but
you
that's
look
too far.
It is too far. Where and you've got South Delta up there, okay,
Right.
and then you have Warren County below it. What's north of that? You keep going north. Greenville Public Schools is the closest one there. Okay, both are average to below average school districts,
and both.
So what purpose have you done there? You go east, you go to Yazoo City, who just come off a state takeover. Where are you going to send? So there are bigger issues. You know, like you said, convenience is what they're looking at. Yeah, 100%.
Like, for instance, let's say, for instance, you live across the street from Germantown.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know that is Canton
Mhm.
across the street. That would be a situation where I would say, why can't my kid go to that school?
Right. Well, they moved into that district thinking, or they probably moved into that home thinking that it would automatically be in that district.
Yeah.
You know,
They're gerrymandered.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. So how did Germantown High School come into existence?
Because Madison Central was overcrowded.
Overcrowded. Okay.
Overcrowded.
What do you think's going to happen when you start shipping kids out of Jackson into Madison and Northwest Rankin, which, by the way, neither one of them can handle any more students?
Right.
What's going to happen when you start shipping those in there? Shipping more into Ridgeland. You're going to have another high school, 2 high schools pop up there.
Right.
Okay. You know, the logistics of it and looking at the teacher workforce, it doesn't work. And all they're wanting to do, and we can get into this a little bit, all they want is to be able to pay for their private school education with public funds to make it more convenient for them to send their kids to private schools. That's all it is. And then we can talk about, hopefully we'll have time to talk about the accountability, and we can talk about certifications, but public schools do not have an opportunity, okay,
Right.
to take funds from this pot and put it into this pot.
Right.
Okay. They're mandated by the government or by the state or federal government on what they can spend a certain amount of money for. Private schools don't have those restrictions. Right. If you want to make it a fair game, you want to make it, then loosen up the restrictions on public school, get the teachers into the workforce, which we do not have.
Right.
Okay. And see what happens.
And right now we're short how many teachers in the state?
2,963. So
Okay.
right at 3,000.
So so you've got to replace those 3,000 roughly that we're missing. We have student teachers, right? Or uncertified teachers.
Yeah, you have uncertified teachers assistants. So I see the reports the last 2 years, things that we're trying to do, on the committees that I'm on at the MDE, is seeing how we can get more qualified teachers in. And right now, it doesn't look good with the amount of people that are retiring. I mean, there's been all kinds of agendas out there to try to encourage people to come into education, but it's not taking for whatever reason.
Well, we can't get anybody into any business to work. I don't know. Would you work to get them from outside the state, or are you trying to educate them in the state?
When I was a high school principal, Teach for America was a program that we used, and we brought people from out of state. And let me tell you, those teachers could flat out get after it. It doesn't matter what area you put them in, they could educate kids. They had the training, the background, the whole 9 yards. That's what their sole purpose in their life and their mission was, to educate kids. And when they went into poor districts or disadvantaged districts in Mississippi, they made an impact, and you could see it, and it was real. I don't know right now. It seems to me that the people that are coming into education right now are people who are scared to get out there in the real world and be an entrepreneur. And it's a secondary job. Right. Back in the day, people used to have a calling where they would come on and say, hey, I want to be an educator. I want to make a difference. That's not happening anymore.
Right.
I guess the $38,000 a year is not luring the type of people
Well, you bet. Like in Canton, it feels like everybody wants to get a job at the school district.
Yeah.
And then their goal is to move up, and they go to Jackson State and get a drive-through doctorate. And they come back and they want to be called doctor, and they want to move up in the chain, and that's it. They're not really looking to educate.
Right.
That's the way I see it, you know.
Yeah, it is true. But Clay talks about it all the time about it being a grift. You know, hey, 100% agreed. I mean, but the thing that bothers me, Chip, is when people look me in the face and say, you know, we really want to educate all the children in Mississippi. That is not the case.
Well, I mean, it is not. I mean, I've seen people run for office and tell me that that's what we're going to take care of the kids. We're going to take the kids. I mean, Mayor Truly, we're going to have them reading by 5 and ready to graduate by 6, you know, and no, that ain't what goes on. We'll be back. We're going to talk a little bit more about school choice and the school stuff. See people calling on the phone. We'll get you on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment on the Chip Matthews Show. A little bit more about school choice and the school stuff. See people calling on the phone. We'll get you on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment on the Chip Matthews Show on WYAB.
.1039 WYAB.
Business owners, tired of drowning in payroll, compliance, and back office headaches? ePolice has your back. ePolice can free you from the never-ending grind of employee administration, such as time and attendance, onboarding, background checks, even business insurance. While you focus on growing your business, ePolice handles the paperwork. Stop stressing and start succeeding. Partner with ePolice, locally based in Ridgeland. Visit ePolice.com and get back to business.
The mowing season is full on here in Mississippi. I'm David Frederick, owner of Frederick Sales and Service in Brandon. The industry-changing Exmark Laser Z commercial mower turns 30 years old this year and has been redesigned with even more great features you just have to see. We have a sale going on with instant rebates, and 0% financing is available too. Stop by our store and let our award-winning staff show you the Exmark difference. Fredericks and Exmark, over 3 decades serving you in Brandon since 1993.
Hey, this is John with MES. That's Mississippi Energy Services. We sell, service, and install all makes and models of home and business generators. One thing that we do different than a lot of other companies is we do all the work ourselves. We don't use subcontractors. We go from the original estimate, the design, to the final product. That way we can control the quality of the job from the beginning to the end. We are online at msenergy.us.
Here's a word from John White, the owner of Two Gun Tactical in Flowood and Ridgeland.
I carry a gun every day, all the time. Last year in America, 2 million legal guns were pulled, and it stopped the threat. So I'm really wearing a firearm just to stop the threat. There's more likelihood of me just pulling it and not using it than there is using it. TwoGunTactical.com, TwoGunTactical.com.
Two Gun Tactical, the South's only country club.
Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home Care Plus in Ridgeland. We are a proud carrier of Abena Premium Incontinence products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
If you had an accident and had your vehicle repaired at the insurance company preferred shop, you might consider calling Clinton Body Shop to schedule a post-repair inspection. 5 of the last 6 cars we inspected were bought back by the insurer or repair shop due to unsafe repairs. Your family's safety and your investment are at risk. You may have a diminished value claim due to repairs. Did your insurance company mention that? In Clinton and in Richland, we work for you. We take pride in perfection.
Your roof is constantly exposed to the elements, battling dirt, algae, and stains. But with Watkins Construction and Roofing Roof Wash Service, you can keep it looking like new. A proprietary rooficide treatment is EPA approved, safe, and guaranteed to prevent algae from coming back for at least 2 years. No harsh chemicals, no damage, no black streaks. Just a clean, beautiful roof that lasts. Call Watkins Construction and Roofing at 601-966-8233 or visit nomoreroofstains.com today.
From the garden, from the garden.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
Yes, I am Chip Matthews. He is Jamie Creel. We're sitting in doing a conversation here on school choice, and let's go to the phone. This is Russian roulette now. Hello, you're on the air. He's going to have to call me back. He's gone. You never know what you're going to get.
Oh, well.
You never know what you get. Maybe he'll call back. Maybe not. He said he wanted to talk about school choice. I put him on hold, and then boop. But that's that. So we were talking. I was mentioning to you something that I'd heard about going on, and Don McKenzie brought it up this morning to me and said, make sure you ask about this. A lot of people don't know that there are Filipinos coming in to help us educate and fill out some of the jobs here in Mississippi. Now, these Filipinos would be certified teachers. Is that right?
Well, I would certainly hope. I would certainly hope so. Look.
Okay, we got him back.
Okay,
let's go there and we'll come back. YAB, good morning. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, I got. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. Am I on the air?
Yes, you're on the air, and go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I pretty much for school choice. I don't know if my first motive is to provide a quality education to everybody, but that's a good goal. What is your guest's answer to how do you provide a quality education for everybody? What is the approach, please?
Okay, what's your name, sir?
Johnny.
Hey, Johnny, and I'm Jamie. It's nice to meet you over the air. And, so to me, Johnny, here's what you got to do. You got to address the elephant in the room. And right now, the elephant in the room is not having enough qualified teachers in the state of Mississippi. I stated this on this show and on Clay's show. There's roughly 2,900. It's not roughly. It's what the number was. 2,963 teachers that we were short in the state of Mississippi last year. Okay. So the state of Mississippi says you can have 150 students per teacher. So that's roughly 450,000 kids that could possibly not be getting the quality of education that they deserve. All right. So instead of sending them off to private schools where the teacher's going to be non-certified and there's no accountability, we have to address the elephant in the room, and that's getting more quality teachers into the educational fields. Whether it's like Chip said, by sending Filipinos in here to help the low area districts, whether it's recruiting more, whatever the case may be. To me, the biggest thing is you have to create more teachers to eliminate this shortage. If you don't, it doesn't matter where you send these kids, whether you send them to private to where only half or 3/4 are certified and no accountability, or you send them to another public school, which already filled up to the brim. Does that make any sense?
It sounds good, but the elephant in my room is not a shortage. Of course, that is a problem. It is the incompetence and the corruption of the public education system. You could quadruple funding, and you can hire all the teachers. And that certification you mentioned, that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm sorry, I'm being kind of aggressive.
No, you're fine.
You could quadruple funding, and all you do is add more incompetent administrators, more nepotism, more incompetent instructors, teachers. You could.
And see, I agree.
A lot of money, and
I agree with you. And on that part, I believe in consolidation. I think consolidation is a bigger issue than school choice, because you have 140 districts in the state, and you got 140 superintendents, and most of them make above $150,000 or $200,000 a year.
Yeah,
and that's insane.
Johnny, I will say this, okay? You bring up a very valid point, okay? I'm not for school choice. I am for abandoning the federal school program, because as that money starts filtering down from the top, it doesn't go to the kids, okay? So when Trump came out and said we're going to do away with the federal Department of Education, I'm all for that because I want the money to get into the kids' hands to where you can better educate kids. You cannot educate kids, to me, if you have a shortage of 3,000 teachers just in public school in the state of Mississippi. I feel like that's where you're going to have to start. I agree with you. Most districts in the state are top heavy. They are receiving more money than what they should be making. I was a former high school principal, and I can tell you this, I made decent money, but it didn't compensate me to a point where I was well compensated for the job that I was doing. I felt like I was underpaid every day I went in there just because of the amount of stress and anxiety and the stress of accountability, which is what these private schools do not have the opportunity of. If you're going to get,
they do. They're accountable to the people who pay to have their children educated. That's much more accountability than being in a bureaucracy.
Well, so take it off the public schools and see what happens. Allow them to teach something other than just the test. Right now there's so much demand on the subject area test that these teachers have no choice because their job depends on it, that they're going to have to teach to the test. Private schools don't have to do that. They can.
Well, okay, that leads me to the next point. Thank you. I'm sorry for that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. No, you're good.
Okay. Accountability. I would be in favor of putting more money into public education if you told me you were going to privatize it. Yeah, let's spend more money, but let's have for-profit schools that are truly accountable. Now, this baloney about no kid left behind. How you can have all this baloney stuff from Washington and it doesn't do a hill of. It's no good.
Yeah, I agree with that, Johnny. You have some points that I agree with. Now, let me ask you this. So I am a father to a son who has special needs. What's going to happen with him? The private schools do not have any shape, form, or fashion, any way to accommodate any kid with special needs. Okay.
And you'd have to tell me how many of those there are. I'm not willing at this point to continue to have a laughable education system, wasteful, laughable, unproductive to accommodate. And it sounds cruel, but how many of those special ed kids are there? I'm not willing to sacrifice the whole system for that.
Right. I'm going to be willing to say in Madison and Rankin County, I would be willing to say there are probably 2,000 or more in each district that are disadvantaged.
Okay. What do you call them disadvantaged?
Well, they have some type of learning disability at some kind of, I told, like I said on Clay's show last week, you hadn't been anywhere until you walked into a severe and profound classroom. It'll make you get on your knees and pray to the Lord Jesus. I walked in there the first day I ever walked in as principal of a high school. I didn't even know we had the room when I walked in there. And I walked in there. You see a kid with literally no nose and no ears. And, and for us to throw those kids away, and then you have kids with dyslexia, you have kids with autism, ADHD, which that's a story for another day, but how are you going to service those kids? Well, you're not. You're going to get back to another form of segregation, and you're going to take the haves and you're going to put all the haves over here, and you're going to segregate, and all these kids over here that have learning disabilities to be stuck in the public school and have no way out.
You're calling children without disabilities haves. I think that's a little deceptive.
Well, I'm calling them haves. I'm calling them haves, Johnny, because the private schools, because they do not have those disabilities, they're going to accept those kids. They're going to have the ability to accept or deny kids in, and they can't service a kid who has a disability. Okay. And so they're going to be the have-nots. They're the ones that's going to be left behind, which is going to cause segregation in a whole nother form.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't have an answer right now for the problem you're raising. I really don't.
I understand.
But at this point, I'm still reluctant to to continue to accept what we have now just on that one rationale.
Well,
there's
if you say the system if you're saying the system needs to be reformed from top to bottom,
we agree.
We agree. Everybody
100%.
agrees on that.
Yeah, it needs to be fixed.
But school choice is not particularly the answer to it.
So here's
Okay, well,
let me say this to you, Johnny, and then look, thank you first of all for calling in the show. Thank you for being able to be on one side of something and which may be a little bit against what I believe in, but we can be friends at the end of the day because you have to have debate. Okay. Number one, teacher shortage, you have to address it. Okay. Number two, you can't have accountability in the place that you left from versus the place that you're going to. So if you're going to spread the dollars out, okay, then you have to have either have accountability in private schools, just like you do public schools, or take it away for both. Okay. And then you can't make teachers be certified in public school and non-certified in private school. If you're going to take those, if you had an issue and you had to go to the doctor, are you going to go to someone who doesn't have a certification or who does not have accountability to a national board of physicians?
Doesn't have MD behind his name.
That's exactly right. No, you're not.
And that doesn't mean, I'm sorry to be sarcastic, that doesn't mean anything to me. I have known that certification and like you guys were talking about earlier, that EBD degree.
Right.
You talk about reform. I could get on reform if it meant getting hiring all the new teachers you need, good teachers, competent teachers, and getting rid of all the incompetent teachers. That I could get behind that.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. That's
never happened.
That is 100% what needs to be done. Just like I said 2 segments ago, what happens is teaching becomes a fallback profession. Okay. People aren't going into education like they were 40 years ago to make a difference. This is a fallback profession, and we need to change that. You want to make education great again in Mississippi? Fill the teacher shortage with people who want to be there and compensate them accordingly. Quit letting the money filter down and flying out to all these consultants, and get the money back into the hands of the schools so they can educate the kids and you can have better results at the end of the day.
Well, thank you. I think I have said more than I need to say. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely,
Hey, thank
Johnny.
you, and you can call back anytime.
Anytime. Thanks for your call, Johnny.
Thank you.
All right, man.
And, that's all good things. We got to take a break. We'll be right back
thank
on the
you,
Chip
and you
Matthews
can call
Show
back
on
anytime.
WY.
Thanks for your call, John.
Thank you.
All right, man.
And, that's all good things. We got to take a break. We'll be right back on the Chip Matthews Show on WY.
1039 WYAB.
CBS News Brief. A judge says the president's use of the National Guard during immigration protest in L.A. was illegal. CBS's Michael Wallace.
The judge ruled the administration violated the Posse Comitatus Act, which states Army troops can't be used for domestic law enforcement purposes. The administration argues the troops were protecting federal officers, not enforcing laws.
Ryan Ruth has a court hearing this morning charged with trying to shoot Donald Trump at his golf course last year. Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum.
He's not mounting much of a defense other than he had abandoned the rifle during Donald Trump's round of golf and never had him in his sightlines.
Murder charges have been filed against a suspect in the fatal shooting of an 11-year-old in Houston. He was shot after doing a ding-dong dash.
This is the first in 2 years we've ever had a situation. These are all dead-end streets, so we all pretty much know each other in this neighborhood.
CBS News Brief. I'm Stacey Lynn.
We all love the farm-to-table food concept, right? Well, at Burnt Corn Farm, they bring you locally grown flowers straight from the farm to the vase. With a wide selection of flowers and excellent service, Burnt Corn Farm will make your next party or shower a southern delight. Sign up for a monthly bouquet subscription, and their farm-fresh flowers will brighten your days all season long. You can also book your next family photo session in their wildflower field. That's Burnt Corn Farm on Facebook and Instagram.
You often hear life referred to as running a race. The same can be said for financial planning and investing. Think of Wheeler Parker as your track coach to help you run your best financial life. Wheeler Parker provides decades of investment and wealth management strategy and experience in navigating life's hills, valleys, and curves, strictly from a financial perspective, of course. Life's a race. It takes money to run it well. And whether you're just out of the blocks or approaching the finish line, Wheeler Parker is here for the journey. Wheeler Parker, financial advisor, 601-607-7596.
Why should you choose Ceramic Air Conditioning and Heating for all service or installation? Well, they purchase all parts directly from the manufacturer. All of their factory-trained technicians have been hand-selected for skill, work ethic, and experience. There are never any hidden fees or charges. Ceramic Air Conditioning and Heating is dedicated to your complete satisfaction, and they're family-owned and operated. For residential and commercial service or installation, contact Ceramic Air Conditioning and Heating, 601-317-0729, or make an appointment through their Facebook page.
When you want your pine trees to grow a little happier and a lot healthier, call on Holcomb Aerial Service. When your crops need dusting, think Holcomb Aerial Service. From the farm to your own pine forest, Holcomb Aerial Service will stimulate growth, eradicate pests, and preserve the value of your crops. Call Holcomb Aerial Service at 601-668-6200. That's 601-668-6200.
Are you ready to invest in your future? Then invest in land. This is Tom Smith from Tom Smith Land and Homes, Mississippi's premier land and home real estate resource. With land, you can create the lifestyle that you desire, whether it's a home, farm, or recreational getaway. Land means space for memories and a legacy for you and your loved ones. Tom Smith Land and Homes has homes as well as acreage, hunting, and timber properties available throughout Mississippi and the Southeast. Visit TomSmithLandandHomes.com and invest in land and your future today.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
We're talking about school choice and what good it is and what bad it is for the education system here in Mississippi. Of course, nationwide, Trump says school choice, and so we're talking about that in the break here with Jamie Creel, where he brought up the fact that and I said, they're talking about a special session before January to talk about school choice, and he's of the opinion that it will pass automatically because Republicans have said so. And it's not particularly a good thing that if it does pass, debate needs to occur. It's more about money getting to where it needs to get to than money not getting where it needs to. And school choice is really going to lead to, in my opinion, let's say, for instance, you need a new quarterback. That kid, if there's not a space in the school for him, they're going to find a space in the school for him.
You bet.
Because you got to have a quarterback.
You do.
You got to have a running back. You got to have a defensive back. So those people would be put ahead of any. So you're going to get into the segregation part to where the people that you want to make your school better, you're going to make your school as good as you can, and you're going to just start chunking what you can, get them out of there, right?
Let me pose something to you real quick, Chip. Okay, let's use a hypothetical. Let's use let's take Clinton Public School District. Clinton Public School District, to me, and that's where I graduated from. Clinton Public School District is amazing. Okay. Right. Clinton Public Schools have defied the odds of what people believe that so-called black people can't learn.
Right.
Okay. Demographics when I was there, you're looking at about 80-20 white to black.
Right.
Now it's 75-25 the other way.
Right.
Clinton has not even, without a shadow of a doubt, buckled with the quality of education that you're getting. It's still at a high standard because the expectations of the administrators and the community is there.
Right.
Okay. And it's not going out. Tamika Billings was a assistant principal to me over in Warren County. She led she had one of the highest scores in the nation, at Clinton Junior High, and she's an amazing educator. Okay. Now take that school. It is taking all the stuff in from Jackson.
Right.
Okay. That should legally be there and made chicken salad.
Right.
Okay. Out of the eggs and the chicken and everything else. Okay. These other schools. So if you have a kid in Clinton, all right, And let's just say you drive all the upper echelon kids out of there, and let's say you send them to Jackson Prep, you send them to Central Hines, you send them back to Hillcrest, whatever the case may be for private school.
Right.
Okay. That leaves you down there with the lowest of the lows, or the middle to the lower class educationally. Okay.
Right.
Now, all that is going to start a cycle. You start sending your top tier kids to private school out of Madison, you filling them in with the bottom kids from Jackson. All you're going to have eventually is Madison Central is going to turn into a JPS school or Yazoo City or something along those lines.
And so what you're talking about now is the money following the student
Correct.
to where he goes. And
Yep.
so every school will be out trying to recruit as much talent as they can into their school, and you're back to real segregation again.
Yeah, if school choice comes about by the legislature, you mark my words. Okay, and people who know me, and I'm a lot like Clay on this situation, I'm going to stand on what I think is right.
Right.
Okay, if you pass this, I don't think there's any way to go back from this segregation. We tried consolidation back in the day. It didn't work. The reason consolidation didn't work is because you took away opportunities for kids to perform in athletics, to perform in the band, to sing musically, whatever the case may be. Okay. You're about to segregate and put all the people who can afford it and haves over here and leave the have-nots behind with poor education and lack of teaching. And you might as well, you're just saying to hell with them.
And you're also taking the haves and they're getting richer.
Yeah, 100%. Well, what they're doing is they're not having to pay for their education anymore.
Right. But there would also, if you can, let's say, for instance, your school is bringing in $10 million off of money coming in.
Mhm.
Well, you can double your side and get $20 million in.
You could. Yeah, you're going to bring it in more.
You could start building more buildings all over your campus and have as many people as you want.
All right. So let's just say this. Let's say you're the headmaster of XYZ private school.
Right.
Okay. These 5 to 10 doctors' kids want to leave the public school to come to your private school.
Right.
Tuition at your place right now is let's say $15,000 a year.
Right.
Are you going to accept those kids?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, here comes mama who's working 3 jobs and her 15 kids. Okay. They're trying to move over because they want a better opportunity.
Right.
There's no way those kids that cause issues in other places, are they going to let them in?
No,
they're not. Those kids are going to have to stay. And if they're not going to stay, they're going to charge another stipend on them and change the daggum tuition amount for them. There's no way you're going to allow, it's going to be equal opportunity into these other schools, crossing county lines, going to private schools. There's nothing you can tell me to make me believe that that is the case. So people that look me in the eye and tell me school choice is to have a better education for all kids, that's like, don't piss on my shoe and tell me it's raining. Don't do that. Just say, hey, this is for convenience. This is so I don't have to pay to send my kid to private school anymore. And so be it.
Right. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Just don't lie to me.
I mean, because, I see when you start saying, and then the charter school system, I see that churches, small churches, and you will wind up with a bunch of them become 503Cs, and they will say, okay, we're going to take 25 kids in each grade. And then all of a sudden they're just doing it to get the money in, not particularly to have the best teaching situation. And then of course those kids would want to play football or whatever. And they would be saying, well, we need to get them into this system to do that. I mean, it doesn't really work on in math.
The accountability model.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're not going to make the private schools have the same accountability as the public schools.
Right.
Okay. And the money's going to follow the kid, then take the accountability off the kids at the public school level.
Right. Because right now money, let's say, for instance, you're looking at a budget at a public school. So your real problem here is, like, for instance, in order for you to get your letter grade of an A, a B, a C, you have to pass those national tests, right?
Yes, there's a lot of factors.
Okay.
Graduation rate, the subject area test, growth. There's so many factors when it comes to those grades.
And then for instance, like in Canton, we got in trouble for cheating on the test, but that been a failing school district for years, And the rule was when you're a failing school district, the state was supposed to come in and take you over. And it never happened. It never happened because we cheated on the test score and it went up for a while. And then it came. Then they said, okay, they cheated. No big deal. Nothing happened. I mean, that's Canton is a unique situation. I'm not going to get you in the middle of that.
We'll talk about that off the air, Chip.
Yeah. But I mean, the situation is the state test scores now are you don't test on history anymore.
Correct. U.S. history's out, which, I mean, they still take the course. But I was fine when they took it out, to be honest. I mean, basically English, math, and science. I mean, if we can focus on those things, I mean, what is the history component, the history test going to give us down the road?
Here's what I will say from as an advocate for the history test and civics. I believe if you can't be an American unless you understand the history of how we got here.
I agree with that.
And we teach it, but we really need to beat it into their brains so that they understand. I mean, we're burning flags. We're doing this. Yeah. I mean, that's because you don't respect the history.
Right. Civics and that part of history that you're talking about is coming at the junior high level. There's really, when you had the subject area test, there wasn't a whole lot of civics actually on the subject area test for U.S. history. And
then Dawn has sent me a message. She said, ask him about holding the kids back in junior high. Hold on. So that, so let's say, for instance, so that the dropout rate occurs prior to high school. Let's say if you hold a kid back in the 8th grade several times and you don't let him go forward, then your graduation rate is based on when they got to high school, right?
Correct. That's right.
Not their graduating, not the class they started with.
So your credits and all, you can get some credits in 8th grade. A lot of it starts when you hit the 9th grade, and then your graduation is based on the time when everybody entered versus how many finished. And you would be surprised the things that are going on out there to get people graduated.
Right.
And I know we're up against a break, but maybe we can finish up talking about those type things, holding kids back. And
yeah, we'll talk about that. But that goes more into education reform,
right?
Than school choice.
Before you go, let me say this, Chip.
Okay.
If you don't, do you have a second?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. All right. So I know for a fact. Okay. Well, let me change that. I know of schools who intentionally failed or let failure go on at the junior high level. Okay. So they could show improvement and growth when those kids got to high school, okay, to give themselves an inflated score on the accountability model so they didn't look so bad. Now, that's a sham in every step of the way, kind of like Johnny was talking about. I agree with Johnny in a lot of those
manipulation
things.
For this teacher to make more money.
Okay. Manipulation for that and the school district to receive more funds.
Right.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay, so.
We can
we'll finish up on the other side. We'll be right back. We have Jamie Creel in here, and a person who knows education, and we're going to talk about it some more. We'll be right back on the Chip Matthews Show. We have Jamie Creel in here, and a person who knows education, and we're going to talk about it some more right here on the Chip Matthews Show.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
Yazoo Valley Electric Power Association wants you to stay away from downed power lines. Downed power lines carry the risk of deadly electric shock, even if the broken wire is not sparking. If a wire is crossing a road or driveway, avoid the area and keep others away. If you see a downed power line, back away and call your utility company or 911. When you call, be prepared to provide the specific address or location of the downed power line so a repair crew can get there as quickly as possible. This safety message brought to you by Yazoo Valley Electric Power Association.
I'm Sean Yurtkaran, and I've spent nearly 20 years in the courtroom, first as a prosecutor in Hinds County, now fighting for my clients as a defense attorney. I know how the system works, and I know how to protect your rights. If you're facing criminal charges, don't wait. Call me at 601-862-1320 or visit me at onetextlaw.com. That's onetextlaw.com. Serious cases need serious defense. And remember, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Let's get to work.
Feeling a little less these days? Less energy? Less drive? You're not just getting older. It could be low testosterone. It impacts millions of men, affecting your energy, mood, and even your performance. But there's a clear answer. Men's Health of Mississippi is offering a free testosterone screening. That's right, a free test to see if low T is holding you back. Take control. Reclaim your vitality. It's time for the edge you need, the care you deserve. Schedule your free screening today at menshealthms.com.
Dr. Mike Stonington here from Stonington Farm Grass-Fed Beef. Here in South Mississippi on Stonington Farm, our steers are grass-fed and grass-finished. No grain, no hormones, no antibiotics, no mRNA vaccines. Our grass-fed and grass-finished beef is straight from our farm to your table. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and at StoningtonFarm.com. That's StoningtonFarm.com with 2 N's. And we deliver every 4 weeks to the Jackson area. We are the grass-fed difference.
Have you been injured through no fault of your own? Do you know your rights? Don Evans does. Do you really believe that the insurance company would disclose all information to you? Don Evans will make sure that you are fully informed. It costs nothing to discuss your case. From car wrecks to malpractice, Don Evans will make you and your family whole again. Don Evans won't ever charge unless he collects for you. Call Don for a free, no-obligation consultation at 601-969-2006.
I've always believed that being your jeweler means being there for you with the highest quality jewelry repair and custom design services in the state. I'm John Ravenstein.
I'm Corey Ravenstein. That's why here at Juniker Jewelry Company, you'll find the largest team of fine jewelry professionals and artisans in Mississippi.
Only here at Juniker's will you find 4 master goldsmiths. We do everything in-house. Your jewelry never leaves our shop.
We even have jewelry designers on staff to help you create that one-of-a-kind piece you've always dreamed of.
Juniker's master craftsmen set the stones, work the metals, and polish everything to perfection.
There is almost nothing we can't create or fix like new again.
For Mississippi's finest jewelry repair and true old-world craftsmanship, come see us at Juniker Jewelry Company.
Our trusted jewelry professionals are here for you.
Juniker Jewelry Company, Mississippi's direct diamond importer. 1485 Highland Colony Parkway, just south of 463 in Madison, and JunikerJewelry.com.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
I am Chip Matthews. He is Jamie Creel with Shelter Insurance.
That's right.
Yeah,
Chip.
yeah. Call him up when you need some insurance. Did Fred hook?
Yeah, Fred. We're getting Fred hooked up. We're looking. Fred's a good guy, man. Just a super guy, great personality, and glad to be able to make a relationship.
He
with
used
him.
to be in here. He's usually here on Tuesdays. Got issues today that he had to deal with, and that's okay. So I said, we'll find somebody to talk about something. Yeah. So everybody's texted me, the people that are texting me and the people that have spoken to me say the problem is we got to get rid of the corruption at the top. And that starts at the legislature. That's the way I feel.
Well, I've got a lot of friends up there, Chip, and I'm not trying to call them corrupt, but I'm just trying to.
I am.
Yeah, well, you can, and I'm not going to say whether I haven't looked into that. All I'm simply looking at is how do we truly educate all kids in Mississippi? Because I have a passion for kids in the Mississippi Delta. I lived there for several years.
Right.
Okay, I have a passion for kids in Vicksburg and Brookhaven and Clinton and Brandon, all the places I've been. Okay, I've seen the disparities in school districts. It is real. And it is there. And when you do this school choice thing, all you're doing is creating a larger gap to leave other ones behind. It all boils down to the 3 things. To sum the show up that you and I have talked about, it boils down to 3 things. You have to address the teacher shortage. Okay.
Right.
You have to address the accountability component and then the certification.
Okay. So let me ask you this. If you took all the private schools, the academy system, and put all those people into public school immediately,
like the teachers?
No, all the students.
Mm-hmm.
How would we would still be? We'd be extremely short, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
It would be.
I mean, even if you took, yes, absolutely. If you take all the kids in private schools, put them into public schools, bring all the certified teachers, whether they're retired or not, because they can double dip, and bring them back into public schools, we're still going to be short teachers, and you're going to be short on capacity of the buildings.
Because
Northwest Rankin was built, and then in less than a year, it had already outgrown itself. Look at what Pisgah happened. Pisgah's going to go from a 2A to a 5A in 3 to 4 years.
Germantown.
Same thing happened to Germantown. Same thing happened to Lewisburg up in DeSoto County. I mean,
we don't. The schools are not big enough to hold what they have. I think that we need to start working on a school that when you see a portable building out front, they should be breaking down for a new school. Breaking ground for a new school, period.
And I talked to Superintendent Rhymes over in Rankin County. You know, he had already allocated monies to add on to Pisgah for 2 years in a row. And it's just amazing the growth out there. But first thing we got to do, Chip, we got to fix the teacher shortage.
And to fix that, school choice does nothing to fix that.
It does not, sir.
So we don't need to spend $100,000 a day for a special session to go in there and talk about school choice. Y'all probably need to take that time and decide that you should give us back the ballot initiative where the people can tell you what kind of school they want. You know, it's not up to the people. It's up to the people to be in charge, not the politicians.
It is. And I'm afraid people are being misled. And you know, you got to look at the elephants in the room. You got to look at the issues that are causing all this. And I know we talked about the Filipinos coming in to help educate kids, but there needs to be something that's done to incentivize people that really care to get back into education, to help educate kids in these lesser districts, to elevate them to where they need to be.
Well, thank you for showing up today.
Chip, it was an absolute pleasure. I look forward to being back here next week.
And we'll be back tomorrow morning. See ya.